And see the stories on the 3-hour news show. Before we dive into today's topic, which is skydiving, I'd like to ask Yani, have you ever tried adventure or something, extreme sports during your vacation?
During vacation, well, I've never done skydiving, but I did try parasailing.
Parasailing?
No, it's not the same, but I mean, it's pretty extreme, right?
Yeah, that's pretty extreme.
Especially if you don't like heights. If you're afraid of heights, that's pretty cool for me.
Wow.
How about you? I want to know, because I know he's pretty gutsy compared to me, of course.
I've got many bucket lists actually, but what I've done is small river rafting. Is it quite extreme though? Yes. Rafting in a small river?
Sure.
No, it's not. Be honest. All right. So talking about extreme sport or extreme activities, today we are going to explore the thrilling world of skydiving. Not only its adrenaline rush, but also the breathtaking views and of course unforgettable experiences that this extreme sport has to offer.
We will also discuss about the safety practices for beginners in skydiving with our guests, skydiving athlete and instructor Ardya Rifiantara. Ardi, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
I mean, first of all, this is just so cool, right? Just
That's
looking
so
at
cool.
this. Wow, yeah, I don't have the guts for that, but...
Yet, at least.
Not yet. But of course, we want to know more about it.
Okay.
And we know that skydiving is one of the most popular extreme sports in the world. I'm curious, how did you get into skydiving? What motivated you to be, to jump into the sport?
Okay, so skydiving, what makes me do skydiving, it's just in my background. This is my dad. So my dad was a skydiver also. So since I was a kid, I saw him skydiving and it was very cool. So that was my main dream, to be a skydiver one day, and I made it. And after years, I made it to jump or skydive together. It is 2 years ago with him after he stopped skydiving for a long time, and it was just dream come true.
So it was actually your first time diving with your dad in this picture?
First time in this picture.
But this is not your first skydiving?
No, it was years back.
Wait, so when was your first time skydiving?
So first solo skydiving, I was 16 years old.
16 years old.
16 years old, but 19 years ago.
Right.
But tandem skydiving with instructor when I was 12, during elementary school.
All right, so he was doing skydiving when 16, I was skipping roping. Anyway, so does your dad have like military background?
No, but he was a journalist, so he was also working closely with military, and at the time skydiving quite popular when during his time in student in university.
Right.
So maybe at the time easier to learn skydiving.
I see. Wow, a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you started your first skydiving when you were 16 years of age, right?
Solo skydiving, yes.
Solo skydiving. How long did it take for you to finally you could solo skydiving?
Okay, for solo skydiving, basically we can go directly by joining a skydiving course. The skydiving course itself maybe takes about 7 to 10 days, depends on the weather and everything. We follow the worldwide curriculum called Accelerated Freefall. We need to took like at least 8 to 9 skydiving jumps. With each of the jump we have what goals we have to achieve. And after that you can become a solo skydiver.
Okay.
Wow.
But not everyone can pass, right? You actually have to go to different tests.
Yeah, sometimes people get longer jumps, or maybe in the middle, it is just not my sport, maybe, maybe some other, they can finish faster because they have good progress.
Ardi, what you mentioned was, I was thinking about certification, right? So it's like diving, but of course the risk is different. When you take like diving certificate, maybe you will, practice first on the pool. Okay, then you go to the ocean with the guidance of your coach and your friends as well. But the risk, don't you think that it's much higher and bigger compared to diving? Because you mentioned only 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
Wow, we are not dealing with water, but we're dealing with like jumping straight away from thousands of miles away.
Okay, yeah. So in Indonesia itself, the sport is under a national federation called Federasi Aerosport Indonesia. but worldwide also there is a world organization, and then there are national standard and international standard of how to become a solo skydiver. And because it only takes 9 jumps, but of course after that there are more skill, more license that need to achieve. So after 9 jumps, if following the curriculum, you only can jump solo. But we don't want to jump by ourselves. We want to jump with the others. So we have to gain more experience, more jumps, more training, until we can jump together with friends or maybe joining a competition and other things.
Okay, so 9 jumps, but there's phases that you have to...
Yes, after that, So 9 jumps, before that we do the ground training, maybe 1 whole day, and then after that 9 jumps. Even if the weather good, aircraft good, the jumper good, maybe we can finish faster, but if the weather and progress of the person is slower, maybe take a longer time. But 9 jump is not finished. After that, it's just the beginning. We just started as a skydiver. A lot more skydiving types, skills that can be attained.
Now you mentioned about licenses and also certificates. Can you share with us what kind of license and certificates do you have right now?
At the moment, for the national certification under FASI, I'm D license, which is the highest license. And for the international standard, I also joined the national from the United States. I got C license, 1 license lower from the highest. And also I already attained the instructor certification, so I can teach anyone that want to learn skydiving from zero. I'm certified to teach them.
Would you like to try any?
I think I'm too old for it.
No, skydiving is for any ages.
Exactly, and if your bucket list is still there and you're 60 or 65, you still can take it, right?
That was my excuse, Rory. Okay.
It shouldn't be.
But, okay, so you can be any age, right?
Yes,
but the youngest, how old?
Youngest, Indonesia, now it's already decided at 18.
Oh, okay.
So at the time I was not, it was not regulated yet, but now it's 18 and no maximum. But of course we looking also the physical fitness. It not really have to be very physical strong, but physical fit, because we have to decide everything up there in seconds.
Right. So talking about...
I was going to say, he's very fit, he's good. You can do it, you got it.
Physically, but not mentally. Right, so talking about preparations though, guide us through the process of all the preparations and what is the most crucial before we jump?
Yes, so before we do skydiving, there are some factors that we need to prepare. And I can say that I divided into 2 factors, from internal and external. For internal factors, of course, our readiness, our body fit. Of course, if we're feeling, I'm feeling sick, better not to jump, no skydive. But if you are okay, I'm okay. And then we also have to understand where is our skills at, because this is dangerous activity that, of course, can be done safely, but if we do something that we are not at that level yet, it can be very fatal. So we have to understand, myself is on this grade, okay, I do the jump on that type that I can do. And also on the internal factor, also our equipments, we check that it is already packed good, and we decide good good gear and everything can be working. And it is from the internal factor. And external one, especially we are, because outdoor, we have to understand the weather. If the weather, especially the clouds, the rain, and the wind. So that's 3 things on the outside that we have to read. We have to check on the data. And then we collaborate. Okay, we decide to jump or not. Besides, also we check the aircraft.
Right. So technicalities is one thing. I mean, you can teach and people can learn about the technicalities, right? But what about if the hindrance comes from within ourselves? We want to jump, but actually we are afraid of height. I want to jump because that's my bucket list, but I'm really afraid of height. So how do you make sure that your students, your client can overcome that fear?
So this is interesting. Everyone on their first jump, of course scary, including me also. On my first jump, even on the door of the aircraft, we see the clouds, and I told to the instructor, can we move back? Because I was very scary. So it is like if anyone that on the first jump said, I'm brave, I don't feel any fear. No, it's lie, because of course it's scary. We are on thousands feet above the ground level. So this is very interesting. The philosophy is brave is not because we don't have fearness, but how do we deal with it? By trusting our learning. We have already learned. Of course, if we are not learning, you have to be scary. But we already learn the theory, we learn the technique, and we have the instructors that go with us, and we believe to our gears. So that's combined. Okay, we have to overcome the fear. So that's how we deal with it.
So we have to believe in ourselves first.
Yeah. So are you sold? You're gonna do it now? No.
Let's do it. Here.
Now, Ardya, you mentioned about safety. I mean, if people ask you, I mean, how safe is it to skydive?
Yeah. So skydiving now it is a dangerous activity or sport, but can be done very, very safely. One of the main things is because of the gear. So skydiving gear, we always inside those pack of skydiving rig, we have 2 parachutes. So one the main parachute, and the second is the reserve parachute. So if jumping, something happened with our main parachute, we have the reserve parachute. And even for the reserve parachute, it has to be packed very, very specific. Not everyone can pack the reserve parachute because it is our last parachute. So it's very well maintained and very more procedure to pack it. Different with the main parachute. Main parachute I can do pack anytime, but for the reserve it has to be specific person. And even in the modern equipment of skydiving, now we have the automatic activation device. So for example, they are jumping together and maybe crashing and they pass out. The parachute can open by itself because there is a small engine that can open the parachute. So it's now become more safer.
Right. So how many jumps have you done? And has there been any experience that the main parachute of yours didn't open?
So I started solo jumping in 2006, but intensively doing skydiving since 2013. So it's been 11 to 12 years now. It's very intensive. I do the skydiving. 1 year maybe about 100 jumps. And until now,
about 100 jumps.
Yeah, since
so
2013. So I now 1100, about around 1100.
Wow.
And talking about can I facing the emergency situation, I had on my 800 something jump. So it was 8 years after.
But that's quite rare, 800 jumps.
So but every jump, every skydiver, we always prepare
for the worst.
For the worst. So we do the drill how to open the.
So what happened during that time?
At that time, my analysis was maybe I pack or my packer we pack the parachute not well enough. So there are small procedure skip, and then when opening parachute start to spinning. I try to solve the problems, but it not cannot be solved, and just back to the basic. We do the emergency procedure, cut away the main parachute and open the reserve. That's
you cut.
Yeah. So the procedure is we cut away, so we let the main parachute go, and then we open the reserve parachute. So that's openly safe, and then just
so you
landing.
have to do that like very quickly, like just in seconds.
Yes. So we have to decide in seconds because we are still falling. Because my main parachute doesn't open, so we're still falling fast. We have to read, try to solve. If in 5 seconds we cannot solve it, we have to decide and cut away the main parachute and open it.
Yani, I'll go back with rope skipping or rafting in a small river. Okay.
How did you feel when you landed on that one, though?
I don't know, because at that time I already 800 jumps, already instructor. So I think I was not that panicked, so I just read, I cannot solve it.
It doesn't work. Okay, just another day.
Yeah.
Open, okay, just another skydive we jump.
Right.
All right, so we want to know your favorite location in Indonesia first, before we talk about, other countries.
Okay, in Indonesia, I've jumped on many places, whether it's for my civilian club or joining also with the military or maybe demonstration, but my favorite is in my base skydiving center, which is in Nusa Wiro Airport in Pangandaran, West Java. It is at the moment the only one for the civilian clubs that can jump, because it is located. The airport is just beside the sea, so the scenery, of course, beautiful. So even from up there, it was very beautiful. And after we jump, we finish the activity, and we can go to the beach. So that's very perfect.
Is there any SOP when you open the parachute? Because I noticed that you only open the parachute after you getting through the clouds.
So the basic SOP is altitude.
Altitude, okay.
Altitude in skydiving is our best friend. So there are minimum altitudes that we have to open.
Yeah.
The minimum altitude for the normal licensed jumper is 3,000 feet. But for the more experienced one, 2,500 feet. So it's in meter, probably around 1 kilometer. So that's the minimum. So that's the basic, very basic. So open above it, or at least at that altitude.
But what about if you have to open it, but then there's a dark clouds or heavy clouds because it's about to rain? Then what happens? Is it safe for you to open the parachute and get through the clouds?
Very basic. Of course, we have to open parachute. That is very basic of skydiving. Whatever is the altitude, we have to open parachute. But of course, the minimum altitude is that altitude. But if there are clouds, even it's in our minimum, we have to open. And then we have another procedure how to not moving too far, maybe making circling until the clouds leaving, and then we find our landing area. So something like that.
What's the average duration from the moment you jump off the plane to landing?
Okay, so it's different how high we are. If we want, of course, for skydiving, the moment that we cannot pay is during our free fall.
Yeah.
So from 10,000 feet, normally in Indonesia 10,000 feet, out there we can from 12,000, even 15,000 feet. From 10,000 feet until we open at 3,000 feet, it takes around 45 seconds.
45
it's like free fall, right?
Yeah, free fall. We're just falling down.
Oh my goodness.
It takes 45 seconds.
For someone who is really, jittery, for turbulence, I cannot imagine for 45 seconds you do a free fall.
Yeah, so 45 seconds, and then we open parachute, and depends on how big is our parachute. So for me, for like a bigger parachute takes like 3 minutes to land, 3 to 4 minutes. But for me, like experienced one, we use smaller parachute.
Right.
We can arrive at the land less than 1 minute.
So what's your biggest obstacle? What's your worst experience? You mentioned about the main parachute didn't open, right? But was it the biggest obstacle that you've encountered so far?
Yes, that is one of my biggest obstacle. But also talking about problems, I'm the person who doesn't like to take something that not on my level. So I keep that. So until now, 1,100 jumps. Gratefully, I don't have any accident because I don't want to try that. I'm not prepared on that thing. So I leave it all. Maybe there are my friends, they are more experienced. So
you're consistent with where the level you are.
Yeah, and then I'm also trying to be consistent on procedures. So that keep me safe from after. But sometimes beside experience on my main parachute is malfunction, and I open the reserve. Also maybe another experience like I miscalculated during canopy control, and I have to land in someone's backyard. It was also
Did it happen?
It happened because the wind speed on the upper one and the lower one different, and I miscalculating, and then I was too far away, and then I have to decide where I can land safely. And I saw small backyard of someone's houses. and I can land it safely, but it quite okay. I can save something like that.
And that's where he found his wife.
Yeah.
Oh no!
All right, well,
A cool accident anyway.
It is, but that's like something that would happen in movies, right?
Exactly. You landed on somebody's backyard and met with the landlord's daughter maybe and got married thereafter.
Yeah, we got a movie.
Anyway, so see the stories will continue after the break. Don't go anywhere.